Hi, everyone. I think I'm live. If you can hear me, then you can chat in the window, which is to your right. There should be a chat window, and I can enter chat in here too. So let me know if you're out there. I'm going to go ahead and start answering questions because I've watched some live broadcasts and people spend the first 5 minutes saying, "Are you there? Are you there?" And I did the same thing in my last chat. So anyway, I am going to go ahead and get started since this is going to be on demand later with the first question, which is, well, I guess I should say this is Darlene. I'm here for my craft room and in Dallas, Texas, and it's a beautiful day, but it's like 60 something degrees, so it's a little chilly. And if you are on the chat, then put your questions into the chat window. And of course, I have the ones that I've already received, and I'll answer those. But if you have any questions about me or crafting or the new site or whatever, which I think, by the way, is going pretty well. I had a few technical issues at the beginning, but I think I quickly resolved those, hopefully. And you're finding it easier to use and a little bit more organized. I still have a little bit of work to do, but it's sort of not anything super major. Okay, so the first question is from Susan. And Susan was asking me about the login because I said you could log in for like 3 years and it's not going to log you out. And she was worried that people whose membership had expired would still be logged in on their computer and they could still access everything. Well, there's a difference between login and membership. So even though you're logged in, you still have to have a membership level to have access to the content. So somebody who's expired, they'll still they still have a username and password and can get in, but every time they try to click on something, it'll say you have to be logged in to, or you have to be a member or paying member to see the content. So it's two different things. Second question is from Amy. I can see that we have viewers. If anybody wants to chat something to let me know for sure, you can hear and see. So Amy said, how did you design your craft room? Because Amy is designing her new craft room. And where or how did you get started, and did you get outside help? So this craft room was built when I built the house. My husband and I built a house. And so I kind of knew what size area I was going to have, or I tried to make the size area that I had as big as I could. And my office is bigger than his office, which is kind of nice. And we put our offices together, so he's like right here on the other side as well. We thought about putting like a little mini window so we could say hi to each other, but there's a closet. Anyway, so once I figured out like what the dimensions were going to be, then I had to work with the cabinet guy to figure out, the guy who's doing the cabinets for the whole house also did the cabinets in here. And so I knew kind of what space I had to work with. I think it's like 13 by 15. And so I pulled out some of my documents from when I first did this. And this, I did it from kind of looking above. This is, I don't know if you can see it. This is what it looked like. So you kind of have to measure the different areas. And so this middle part is the island. And so I had to figure out how big of an island I could have. And so he mapped this out. Well, actually, I did it on grid paper, and I gave him the ideas because I knew I wanted a desk here. And originally, I had cabinets all here, and I just packed the whole room with cabinets. But my recommendation would be not to have cabinets over everything, because even with this layout, and I have my 2 chairs here, even with that, I still wish I had a little bit more space to just sort of walk around. So the next thing I did was I went into my current craft room and I made a list of everything that was in my craft room. Every like size paper, all the stamp sets, like embellishments, like I have stickles, I have gelatos, and where am I going to store this? And then I measured how high everything was. And then I kind of wrote all that on a piece of paper. And so this is sort of my list of all the things that I have. And then I put them into drawers based on the section. So it was a very long process, and it was very tedious, and I didn't want to do it. It was really dreadful to figure out. I mean, it sounds terrible that I was dreading it, but just to think about the details is just, it's a lot of work. So, so anyway, then I had to figure out like how high my drawers need to be, because like my stamps, I would take my stamp container and I'd take a ruler and see how high it is, how high was my paper. And so it was a lot of detailed planning. But I was starting with being able to design any size cabinet that I wanted. So if you don't have that luxury and you're just going to go to like Home Depot or something like that and get some of their pre-made cabinets, then maybe sort of measure your biggest items and your smallest items, because don't underestimate the quality of small drawers, because deep drawers, you just kind of have to reach in. It's a waste of space when you can have 2 smaller drawers, and just sort of try to organize your stuff that way. Anyway, so that was sort of a long answer to this question, but I did have outside help as far as cabinets go, and he would tell me like how many drawers I could fit, what sizes I could fit. But for the most part, I designed it myself. Oh, and I also, while I was doing that, it was the same time that Stamp & Storage had their series on how they were going into different people's craft rooms. And so I was able to see other people's craft rooms like Keisha. I remember her, she had like a store. It just was beautiful. And so I got some inspiration from that. Anyway. So I know I have viewers, but nobody's chatting. I don't know, maybe I can't see the chat, but somebody just enter a chat so I can see maybe there's somebody who can hear. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So the next question is from Irene. And Irene says, how do I get into card making as a business? So like a membership site like Live Love Cards, or charging people for classes, or like getting affiliate money for linking off to stores. I would say you have to kind of develop a following first. And in order to do that, you have to, of course, set up your blog, or blog is probably the best, not just a Pinterest page or Instagram or something like that. And make sure that you post to it on a consistent basis. So I'm really distracted because nobody's chatting, so I'm fearful that the chat's not working. Just hold on, I'm just going to send a smiley. I'm wondering if it's because I'm running on an iMac. And last time I did it on a computer, on a Windows computer. I'm going to bring it up on my other computer. So anyway, so I'm going to try to talk while I do this. So let's see, what was I talking about? Okay, yeah, so you want to start a consistent blog, get a good audience, and you want to post your stuff everywhere. So like when I first started, I had my my YouTube channel, and I was posting consistently every week. And then at the same time, I was also posting pictures of my cards everywhere I could post them. So at the time there wasn't Instagram, but we had Pinterest. And so I was posting to Pinterest. And then another big one that I was posting to was Split Coast Stampers, because at the time I was using mostly Stampin' Up! Stamps and products, and so they're really focused. I mean, not so much anymore. They cover everything, but at the time they were really Stampin' Up! Focused. So I would post my stuff there, and you can get good following there. I would also try to apply to design teams. You may not think that you're qualified, but there are so many design teams out there. I mean, you don't have to be part of the Hero Arts design team. You could be part of, a lot of small companies have design teams that you could start off with. And then you would, of course, everywhere you post, you want to link back to your blog. So that will help you get your following. And then if you have a following, then stores will be more willing or want you to be an affiliate for them, because you can actually send them business. And so, that's a pretty easy thing to start. You basically just sign up and you can email them or whatever, and then they approve you and you're good to go. And then what else? I thought about this. That's pretty much it. Now, as far as, charging people for a subscription site, I was card making for 5 years before I started this, but I had gotten up to like 40,000 YouTube subscribers, so I decided to move forward that way. But affiliates, I mean, the money is not very good, but it is a little something if you're just looking for a little something. And then like as far as class fees or something, I've never really gone that way, but there is, I think it's called Craftsy, I think. And it's a site that they actually emailed me about doing some videos, like class videos that they would post on their site. So that might be another way to go. Anyway, okay, so let me see really quick. I should have brought this up. And my computer's locked up. Okay. Oh, here we go. Let me just go to the homepage. Okay, next question. Donna asked me, how much time do you spend on your site? And she sent me this, I think this afternoon, or I saw it this afternoon. And so I sort of was thinking about this in the car and started writing notes on my phone because it really was an interesting question. How much time do I really spend on it? Because I feel like I spend 24/7 on it because it's always on my mind. I mean, in the car, even everywhere I go. Let me see. All right, so I'm bringing it up on my computer. Oh my gosh, there's tons of chats. Oh, I just can't see it. Okay, now this is going to be a little weird. Okay, I'm just going to, can you see that? Okay, I'm just going to silence this one. Okay, all right, we're good. And actually, you know what? Between when I say something and when you hear it, it's like 13 seconds. So anyway, you're probably just now seeing me get all surprised. Okay, so there's tons of chats. Let me finish what, oh my gosh, there's tons. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry. Why isn't it working on here? Okay, let me get my paper back out to finish Donna's question. Okay, so I think about this site all the time. I think about the site features. I think about the community. I think about how I can make it better. I think about car design in the shower. I mean, I think about this all the time. So I feel like I spend a lot of time on it. But like some of the things you wouldn't even think of that I do that take a lot of time. So, I mean, there's the typical stuff such as, you know, doing the card work. So like I do pre-design work where I sit down and I grab a bunch of products I want to use. I sit down and then I sort of design out how I'm going to use those products on a piece of paper. So like I draw rectangles for my cards and maybe like 2 or 3 or 4 I might get on a piece of paper. And I spend probably a couple hours a week doing that. Then, well, probably not that many, probably an hour a week doing that. And then I take each one of those little mini drawings and I try to make a card out of them. And that takes anywhere from an hour if I'm really lucky, or it could take like 6 hours or over the course of a couple of days because I just can't make it work. And so I have to step away from it or whatever. And so, so the actual card design takes probably the most amount of time. Now, if I'm doing a product review, that could take several days because I'm thinking about them a lot. I'm different ways to use it, kind of brainstorming, and then trying out different things and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and then trying to condense it into a video that I can quickly get to all the good points and, you know, kind of map out what I'm going to talk about and do the video for that. So the video time is usually about, I want to say, an hour, maybe 30 minutes, anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour for the recording time. It could take up to an hour, not because the card takes an hour, but like I make mistakes and then I have to start over, or it just doesn't come out right and I don't like it, so I have to start over, or maybe I turn the video off by accident, or I don't know, or something has to dry, you know, for watercolor. So the record time takes about an hour, and then 30 minutes to an hour, and then the editing takes about 30 minutes to an hour again, because I just want to try to make it as compact as possible. And then I have to do the voiceover and all that. And then to create the post where I talk about it and then I link everything up, that takes 30 minutes to an hour. So all that for each card. And then plus I have all the other posts that I do, like the polling and the throwbacks. and just other announcements and news and stuff like that. And then the birthday groups those are all things that I do manually, all those birthday group things. So if you've had a birthday group, you get emails and, set up the site. And so people get requests. I get requests for, I want to be part of the birthday group. So I, put that on. I'm probably taking way too long to answer this question, but like emails and forum and answering questions, that takes up a bunch of time. And then there's all the financial stuff, like people's credit card expires. And so there's an error and then PayPal keeps charging, but a lot of that is done manually by me too. I got to contact the people because some of you, I don't know if people watching, but some people, they get the automated email and they don't do anything. And so if you don't do anything with the automated email, then I have to follow up. And a lot of people don't do anything with the automated email. So those are kind of personal things that I handle. And then just bug fixes and technical stuff that I do just to keep up with the latest software releases and stuff like that. And then the whole card donation thing actually takes a lot of time. So I'm back and forth to the post office, picking up cards and then sorting them and organizing them. And then I have to sign them if people didn't sign them. So, I don't know if you count that as part of the Live Love cards, but anyway, I work on it full time. It's like full time. So when the kids are in school, I'm working on it. When the kids go to bed, I'm working on it. I work on the weekend. every day of the week. So it's just, it's constant, but I like it a lot. So I'm not complaining. I'd much rather be doing this than sitting in an office. So that's good. Okay. So now I'm going to go back. Okay. That's Carol. Wow. Your room seems bigger than 13 by 15. Thank you. I tried to use the space well. What time is it in Italy? Oh, I'm sorry. That was Connie to Scrap Mirror. Oh, Connie, you're on. Certainly hearing and seeing everything. I don't speak Italian, so hi, Jan. Okay, this is the first comment here. Okay. All right, most of the people are just saying I can hear you. Would you do anything different in the design of your studio now that you've been in it for a while? Oh, that's a good question. I would, like I said before, I remember saying this, I would make more space, like more walking space, more relaxing space. You can't see it. You probably saw it in my craft tour, but I have 2 chairs over here and I have a little, table in between that has some books and stuff. And so I sit there, but the chair is a problem. This chair, I have a pull-out keyboard here. And so there's not a lot of walking room. There's walking room plenty right here behind, but like on that side and this area right here, and then there's a closet. So it's all like, and the dogs are right here all the time. So I'm always having to scoot them out to open the closet. So I guess that would be the only thing. I think that's pretty good considering how much work went in that I would only change that one thing. I can't even think of anything else I would change, honestly. I love the windows. Sometimes the light, the sunshine gets in the way of my videos, but I have shades, so I could put all the shades down, but then I feel like there wouldn't be enough light. So anyway, I'd say I probably wouldn't change very much. How much time do you spend on your blog, Lisa? Yep. So yeah, I already answered that fully, right? Okay. I like Stampin' Up, but it's more pricey. I use stamps from other sources. That's Susan. Yes, I've noticed that Stampin' Up has gotten more expensive, and I'm having a hard time justifying buying some of those stamp sets that are like $27 for a stamp set when you can buy one for $15. I had a bunch on my list for the occasions catalog that I thought were really cute. I really liked them a lot, but I couldn't justify spending that much money and recommending that other people spend that much money. So like, if you notice, I've been buying a lot of smaller stamp sets, like the one with the beaver with the glasses, that was like, I don't know, $7 or $8. And the vacuum set was like $5 or $7. And so I've been really buying the less expensive ones, like the $14, $15 ones too. But like Altenew sets are really expensive. They're like $21 standard for just one of their regular sets. So I have to really like it to spend the money on it. But I did anyway, going back to the original Stampin' Up. Yeah, Stampin' Up. I love their products and I'm going to continue to buy. They're going to come out with their new catalog soon. And I'm hoping that they have some really great innovative things in there because I don't mind spending the money on something that's new and different and just something new to try, right? But if it's another flower set or it's another dog set, or then I don't think it's worth money anyway. So okay, I cannot believe these chats are not showing up. Okay, and it keeps scrolling down. Okay, let's see. Oh, Maui Grits. Maui Grits. I love the new updates. Thank you so much. You guys are so nice. I'm always like reading comments to my family. I'm like, Courtney, you got to come over here and see this. Look what this person wrote. Everybody's just so nice. Good. I'm glad you like the community, Barb. Let's see. I'm sorry to have like dead silence, but I just want to make sure that I don't miss any questions. And it keeps like moving, so I'm trying. Let's see. People are communicating with each other. Okay, how often do you go through, Barb? How often do you go through your supplies and purge? I like don't purge. Well, I was doing it maybe like once every couple of years. I was doing those craft sales, if you remember. It was so much work to do those craft sales. So I'm actually trying not to buy as much stuff as I was before. Trying to go back and reuse a lot of stuff, which I know you guys like me to do. And I like to too, because I like to get my money's worth out of something. So, but I do have, like right now, there's a little container in my closet that has expired stuff in it. So when I find out, hopefully I find out before I use it that you can't buy it anymore. Sometimes I'm really sorry. Like I'm using something and I have no idea that they've discontinued it. And so I go to link it up and then I find out that it's been discontinued and I'm not happy. But anyway, so once I find out something has been discontinued, I put it in this closet over here. There really isn't a whole lot in there, but I do probably need to purge every 18 months is what I would say. And I'm trying to figure out a good way to do it because selling is it's just a lot of work. Maybe I'll use the buy sell trade on the forum. Maybe. I don't know. I need to think about that. But I think 12 to 18 months is a good time frame. Oh, this thing keeps popping down, so I don't, okay. Connie, I'm glad you made it. Sorry guys, I want to go for the glasses. Yes. What is your favorite company to get your stamps from? That's Tammy. I love Simon Says Stamp. I love Simon Says Stamp and I love Ellen Hudson. And I know I'm an affiliate for both of those, but I'm not just saying that. I really do love the Simon Says Stamp stamps. I think they're really good, high quality stamps, and they're affordable. And also what I really like about them is that they come with a lot of stamps in one set. So you can do a variety of things. So on both of the One Stamp 4 Ways, I used Simon Says Stamp products. And that was just because I liked the product. It's not because I wanted to use Simon Says Stamp. So I really like Simon Says Stamp, and I also love the Ellen Hudson sets too. They come in some really nice packaging. And the thing about when I do a blog hop with Ellen, she'll send me, like anybody who participates in their blog hop gets all the products from that line. It's a really cool deal. Anyway, so a lot of the Ellen stuff that I have, I was given because I was part of the blog hop, but I find myself using it a ton. So maybe it's stuff, and it's kind of good it works that way because maybe I wouldn't have bought like the nail polish set. Maybe I wouldn't have bought the nail polish set, but I've already made 2 cards with that set. And I love that set. It's great. So it kind of forces me to use stuff that I wouldn't normally use. But I like Ellen Hudson too. So Simon Says Stamp and Ellen Hudson. And of course, Stampin' Up. I love Stampin' Up. I wish they were a little bit more innovative, and I always have high hopes for the next catalog. So hopefully the next catalog will be awesome. But anyway, what else? I do love Altenew too. That's I really like their stamps. The multi-step stamps, I prefer to color something like Stampin' Outline and color it than to do the multi-step, which is why I don't have as many. I don't see me do that as much. But for stampers who don't like to color, then those are some great sets. Okay, so let's go back here. Oh, Tammy, you're so sweet. Everybody's so sweet. Okay, my thing is scrolling. I'm so glad I brought this computer up. Oh, yes, I love that some of the money for the Stampin' Up! Products through your friend go to a good cause. Yes, I mean, seriously, that is one of the reasons why I continue to use Stampin' Up! Is because I know that if you guys see me use something, then you go off and you buy it, and then 25%, which is a lot of money. I don't know if you checked. I keep track of it with Michelle, and so that I could put it on the site. That it's like up to, I think it's around $26,000 since we started, which is a lot of snack bags for the foster kids. Let's see. Yeah, Carol, I get the stamp sets for participating, but not all. I mean, sometimes they just send me like one or two. Like I'm actually going to be participating in a breast cancer one. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that, but in a few weeks, and they're just going to send me like one. And like Altenew, if I do Altenew, I get to choose like one or two or three maybe things that I would want. So Ellen's the only one that I know that sends the whole thing. Of course, I don't do it. I don't blog hop for everybody. Not a lot of people ask me whatever. You see whatever I do. Okay. Yes, Ellen is a great lady, generous. That everybody is so nice, really. Well, most people. Yeah, Ellen sends the ribbons. Isn't that kind of nice? It's a little nice touch. Let's see. Okay, I think I went through all of the questions. Okay, I'm at the bottom of the chat. So if you have another question, submit the question right now, and I will see it at the bottom of the chat. In the meantime, I'm going to move on to the next question. So Connie asked me about clicking in the country. Remember in the video, I said, oh, by the way, I changed it to login a little bit. So now the login is a pop-up login. Well, you probably don't even know because you don't have to log in anymore. But if you're not logged in, you see a different menu, and there's a little link at the top that says sign in. You click it, and it pops up a login menu. It's very cool. Anyway, okay, so I talked in the video about how you click a country and see everybody who's in your country. So I know you can figure out, you just click the country, and then the list comes up. But it's only people who have put their country in since I released the new site. So you actually have to put your country in there to, because I don't have anybody's country. We did a poll a while back, and I know, Connie, you're in Australia. We did a poll a while back, and I went back and looked, and there were 54 people who said they were from Australia. So I know we have quite a few people from Australia. They just need to put their country in there so that they show up in the list. And usually I want to say about 20 to 30% of the people answer the polls. So that's not even everybody answering the poll. And then the other question that Connie had was about sharing email addresses with the birthday group people, which, and other people have requested that. There's like a few other people that have asked about that. And I am planning to make the birthday groups part of the community thing. So you guys can message you. In fact, you could even do that now. Well, I guess you don't really know how to associate the username with the name of the person on your list, but I'm going to combine it. So eventually we will be able to do that. It is something that's on my list of things to do. Okay, let's see. Yes, okay. Sorry, I'm saying yes. You don't even know what I'm saying yes to. Carol was talking about what I just talked about, the birthday groups. How many members do you currently have? We have about almost 1,100, I think, last I checked. Yeah, it's almost about 1,100. Would you be interested or any of the members be interested in having you explain the color wheel and what is complementary colors and what colors, if mixed together, make things muddy? Okay, I'm kind of laughing at this question because I really don't even know the color wheel. I mean, I know you have like red, blue, and yellow, and the colors in between. And I know you're not really supposed to mix, like yellows and purples don't go, and you're not supposed to. That's why I always talk about the rainbow, right? Because that's what I know is the rainbow. And so I use this part of the rainbow, this part of the rainbow, this part of the rainbow. And that's kind of how I think about it. But it's always been sort of on my list of things to do, is to go figure out what color theory. In fact, I wrote down on my list, I need to do a 101 on color theory, but first I have to teach myself color theory. And then I did, anyway. So yeah, I think that'd be a good thing to do, is for me to learn it and for me to tell you guys about it, because I probably could learn something from it rather than just staying in the rainbow. Okay, so let's see. Holy grits. Okay, next I have Crafty Kate, who asked me about traveling with crafting supplies. So she has to travel to craft with her friends, and so she asked me about what's the best way to take your stuff, because you can't really take everything with you. So I have a craft group that I get invited to every single week, and I like never go because, first of all, I'm working on this all the time, so I don't have time. But part of it is because I can't decide what to bring, right? So I will go to that group when I'm working on my Christmas cards. So I know exactly what I'm going to be working on. I take my stacks of paper, I take my big shot, I just crank it all out. And so if I'm working on like bulk cards and I know what I need, then I will take those. And then also, like, if I'm working on lunch notes for the kids and I know I'm going to stamp, my older one says, "Mom, you don't have to send me notes anymore." It's so sad. Anyway, so I stamp them and then color them, and I can do that, and just bring kind of my Zig watercolors with me and some stamps and paper, whatever, and I can do all that. So I think you cannot, I don't think you could do design at somewhere, right? To figure out what you're going to do once you get there. You've got to figure out what you're going to do before you go. Otherwise, you just sit there and chat, which maybe is good, and you just interact with your friends. But another thing, I did write down a couple of notes on this one. You could stamp images to color. So if you know, like, you just got some new stamps and you want to practice coloring, bring your markers or whatever, bring stamped images and just practice coloring. Because a lot of times, like when I'm designing a card, I don't know how I want to color it. I'll stamp it like multiple times, and then I'll color it with different colors and stuff like that. So, well, I don't know if you're doing that, but you could kind of stamp images that you could cut out later, or, adhere later to colored cardstock and put it on a card. And then another thing I thought of is you could do backgrounds, just sort of like take your color burst with you, take a craft mat or something, and just experiment with making backgrounds. And that just requires just a bunch of A2 size colored paper, like A2 size watercolor paper or Nina or whatever, and just make a bunch of backgrounds. But anyway, honestly, I don't have a lot of recommendations for that because I haven't really found a solution. Okay. There's good information online about color wheels. Thank you, Daisy. You just Google it up. I know I do a lot of Googling. I know my babies are growing up. My older one is driving. It's so scary. But she's actually good. She's a good girl. I have two very good children. They don't get into trouble. They talk back, but they don't get into trouble. Anyway, so, okay, next question. Patty asked about having trouble with her ice layers, those stencils that are really sticky. She said she's using Brusho instead of color burst. I don't think that would make a difference. And she said it leaks under the stencil. So I would make and that you're pressing down on every little area to make sure it's sticking to your cardstock. And maybe since you've been using it a lot, I don't know how you're drying it, but I would take the stencil and put it under water and really rub it with your hands, just hands in water, and then turn it sticky side up and put it on the counter and just let it dry. Because maybe the stickiness has worn out because you've been using it and not having success with it and you haven't been pressing it down. I don't know. I'm just guessing all these things. So I would try cleaning it really well, because if you tapped a paper towel on it or a tissue, it might have gotten some stuff on there, so it's not quite as sticky. And also, I don't know how long those ice layers last, because I think they're actually made to be an embellishment on a card, like a permanent thing that you put on a card for decor. So I don't know how long it lasts as a stencil. I was able to use it multiple times, but maybe yours is starting to wear out. I don't know. But you know, you could also try spraying some of the spray adhesive, which with the normal stencil, that works really well. It might even work better on this because of the quality of the stencil, and it's already got some stick on it. So you could try that too. Okay, do you have any other hobbies besides, hi Deanna, do you have any other hobbies besides stamping? I do. I teach dance fitness classes. So every Friday I get my groove on and I teach my hip hop / Latin / pop dance class. So I do that every Friday, and then I do my own choreography for that. So that takes a little bit of time. I work out a couple of times a week. I don't really work out that much, but I also like walk with a friend once a week. So I don't know if you count that as a hobby. What else do I do for a hobby? Not a whole lot. I mean, I like to do any kind of crafty project. I take care of my kids. I don't like to cook, but I do it anyway. I cook most nights. During the week, definitely, and because I just want my kids to have healthy food to eat, and that's it. I'm obsessed with scheduling, so I guess you could consider that a hobby. And maybe I'll show you my schedule. Here's my schedule. So here's my to-do list, like each day. Hopefully you can't see this because it'd probably be embarrassing. But every day I write down everything I'm going to do. So this is already on my computer, okay? And so then every night, on Thursday the week before, I do this for the following week. And I figure out based on what's on my computer, my task list, I put everything down here. And then every time I do something, this is Monday, then I just cross it off. And then when I cross everything off, then I can make a big X over it. And that's very satisfying to me. And of course, if I do something that's not on my list, then I write it in and then I cross it off. And then on the back, well here, then the night before, I make a Post-it of everything that I'm going to do that day, like a minute to minute order of everything that I'm going to do. It's so funny now that I'm saying it out loud. So this is tomorrow's. I've already done tomorrow's because I'm going out to dinner with my husband tonight. So I didn't want to have to do that tonight. And then the weekend, there's just a little bit planned. I'm so excited. I have a soccer game and church, of course. And then on the back, this is everything that I have to do for the blog. This is my menu for the week. This is my grocery list, which I do everything on Sunday. So I have everything I need, but usually I have to stop once or twice after that. And then just like, this is what my crafting, look at how small my crafting list is right now. That's what I need. I need an R29 refill. And then this is Courtney when she's bringing lunch, which days. And then I write it also on the front, like when she's going to I have to write the lunch note the night before and pack lunch anyway. So I'm not sure how we got on that subject, but my hobbies, right? So that's my hobby, is being organized. Okay. Thank you for your non-crafty favorites. Oh, good. I'm so glad you found those useful. That's great. Okay. That was Maui Grits. I was just trying to join the birthday card. I have not done this before. I'm getting a message saying only one submission is permitted. So if you've already filled it out, then you can't fill it out again. I just put like a limit of 1. So if you haven't filled it out, then that's a problem. So Pat, that's Pat. Can you email me, Pat? Because then it'll be on my list and I will definitely look at it tomorrow. Okay. Video your dance class for us. No. That would explain my weight loss. Nah. My husband cooks. Oh, Carol, lucky for you. My husband doesn't cook, and he doesn't. He cooks occasionally, but he works so hard that he really doesn't have time. But when he does have time, he does like to cook. So do you grocery shop or do you grocery shopping online for groceries? Do you shop? Oh, do you go grocery shopping or shop online for groceries? I always go to the store. I don't do groceries online unless it's like coffee in bulk or I don't know, tissues. I would go to Costco for that. So there's I do buy a lot at Amazon, but all my groceries, I always go to the grocery store. Okay. So that's it for questions. If you have more, send them in. And Patty had another question. Do you have any tips or suggestions on building a blog or website? So I have a computer science degree, and I don't understand how anybody does this without having some technology behind them. So as far as what I do, because I mean, of course, I don't know everything, right? So like over the weekend, when I was trying to roll out this new site, I had probably 20 tabs open on my browser, researching different issues on every single one. So I don't have any answers, honestly. Like when I come up with a problem, I try to figure it out. Usually I can't figure it out. But Google it. I mean, so that's what I would recommend is if you have a problem, you Google it, because there are tons and tons of people who have the same problem. They don't know what to do and they figure it out and they want to share it, because there are a lot of people that share stuff out there. So especially when it comes to technology, there are a lot of people who are technically savvy enough to get their questions and answers out there so that you could benefit from them. But as far as building a blog or website, you would definitely want to start with something that's free. So, Live Love Cards is something that I like purchase server space over here, and I manage everything on there. I install the software and do everything there. But then there are these like hosted sites like WordPress.com, Blogger, Blogspot, places like that, where you can just sign up and you're kind of in a big pool with everybody else, but it's free. And hopefully, it's pretty easy to go step by step. I've never tried it that way. And actually, one of the things that was on my list last year when I was doing some planning is, man, I'd love to do a series on like how to start blogging and blogging questions and stuff like that. But I wasn't sure enough people really wouldn't want to know that information. So I don't know, maybe that would be something good. Anyway, so the bottom line on this, I know Patty said it takes her a while to figure things out. It takes me a long time to figure things out. And I have a computer science degree. So I think it just requires you to spend time, and you have to spend the time. You have to be willing to spend the time. Like I could spend hours, and I don't even know hours have gone by because I like it. But if you don't like it and you're not into it, then just go with a very simple, just step by step. Don't try to do anything complicated. And if you have a question, I'm here, you can ask me. Hopefully I can answer it. Okay. How do you get on the birthday card group exchange? That's Tammy. So if you look on the right, not here, this is YouTube, but on the site, on the right margin, there's a thing that says join a birthday card exchange. You click on it, and then there's a little description, and it has the sign up form link, and you click it and you go fill out the form and it submits it. And now that Pat's having problems, now I'm stressed out that it's not working because I haven't had any requests come in since the new site rolled out, but I don't get them as much as I did before. So I don't know, maybe it's not working. I'll have to check it out tomorrow. Okay. Deanna, do you keep your stamps forever? I have a hard time letting go of my stamps. Is this a sickness? I have some stamps in here that I won't get rid of, but yet I never use them. And they've been in this closet for a year and I haven't used them, but I just cannot part with them. And I don't know why. But yeah, so that happens sometimes. An addiction. Yes, more like an addiction. Okay. This is the last question that I have, like pre-chat. So Daisy asked, did you envision that your love for crafting and later card making would end up getting to this stage? Was it your goal to evolve into a site, or did it just happen to unfold that way? I would never have imagined that I'd be sitting here doing a live chat. I mean, really, honestly, I was a technical person. I like to be by myself programming. And I always liked crafting, but I'd, like styrofoam balls and flowers and stuff like that. So I remember a friend of mine came over with a Stampin' Up! Catalog. And we were joking about it. We were laughing at the name Stampin' Up! And how she's like, it's so embarrassing that I'm bringing this over here. She's like, I signed up because I like to craft, but I don't know what I'm doing. it has an exclamation point in it, and it just sounds kind of dorky. And so we laughed about it, but I'm like, hey, can I have that catalog? And so she left it with me, and I loved it. Just suddenly was attracted to it. Anyway, so did I envision that day that I would be here in this room? No. But I think the technology thing, really, I love that part of it. And so combining the two, and by the way, I am not an artist. So if you go back and you look at some of my videos from the very beginning, it's like some of them, when I transitioned over to Live Love Cards, I like tossed a bunch of the early ones because they were terrible. They were like seriously terrible. So it's a lot of this is just practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. And you just kind of get to be more experienced, and you know what to do, and ideas sort of occur to you more often. And, and I believe that God actually gives me these ideas, because that's a question I get a lot, is how do you come up with like all these new things every single week? How do you come up with a new card? And it stresses me out. Like next week, it's not going to happen. Like it's not going to happen for me next week. But God, I mean, seriously, he just like gives me the idea and it just comes to me. And so I don't take credit for it, because I feel like I'm not an artist, and I practice a lot, and I try to be one, but this is what God wants me to do. And so I just keep doing it. Okay. So let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay. Have you noticed that Amazon and eBay are selling listing stamps, dies, and tools from China? No, I did not notice that. 3 to 5 weeks? I don't think I could wait that long. Usually I'm like, I got to have it. Okay, the card that I'm doing this Friday, I'm not going to show it to you. I needed a B stamp. So I like went searching, and I spent like an hour searching for like the perfect B stamp, and I found it. Anyway, so I had to have it. I can't wait 3 to 5 weeks. Let's see. Barb, do you get any card kits? What do you think of the card kits? I don't buy the card kits, because I like to buy what I want to buy. And a lot of the card kits come with pattern paper, which we talk about this a lot. I don't know how to use the pattern paper very well. I can, but it's harder. It's not as enjoyable. And then they give you the whatever stamp set comes in the kit. So that's the stamps that you get. And I don't know. It seems like for the amount of money for the kit, like $20 or $25, or I think some of them are even $30, I'd rather take that $30 and buy exactly what I want to buy. But, if I was a person who didn't have a lot of supplies that I could kind of piece together, and I was getting started, then I think I would buy card kits, because they kind of organize all the different pieces for you. And you can, I think some of them actually give you some ideas, or you can look online and get ideas on how to make cards with the supplies that are in the box. So for people starting out, or people who don't have a lot of supplies, I would recommend the card kits. But for somebody who has a lot of stuff, then I would prefer not to spend the money on the card kit. I'd rather buy something specifically that I want. Tammy, you were the first person I ever watched on YouTube. Oh, really? Oh, wow. How nice. Oh my gosh. Okay, I got to scroll. I'm looking at a box like this big, and I'm trying to scroll in it. Okay, let's see. I say that survey question on whether the community wants to learn more about blogging startup. Oh, I could do a survey question. I mean, a polling question about that. Yeah. Okay, I'll add that to my list. I hear my dog scratching at the door. I put her outside because she barks and barks and barks. Is the two-way glue pen, the two-way glue pen, you love using it. I seem to have a lot of problems with it being dry. Really? I have not had any problem. Okay, I do have, I threw it away. I had an Express-It marker, and that went dry pretty quickly. The two-way glue pen made by Zig, I've been using the one I have for a while, and I just, maybe you need to like press down and hold, and let the liquid come out a little bit and just keep doing it, a bunch of times. It may be that, but it shouldn't dry out unless you're using it, like when you use it on your project, you take the top off and you leave it there. That will dry it out. One time I left my Stampin' Up! 2A glue pen with the top off overnight and it was completely ruined by the morning. So now when I use it and I put the top right back on. So maybe that has something to do with it. Deanna, is there a program that would catalog your stamps, say you're looking for a bee and then you could find it? This would be great. Well, I didn't have a bee stamp. I looked through everything I had. I had one bee stamp, but it didn't have a smiley face on it. And I really needed a smiling bee. All my bees were just sort of like realistic looking bees and they just weren't working. So I don't have any problems finding stuff. I don't really have that much stuff. I mean, you've seen my craft tour. I have this drawer over here that has all of my stamps in it. So whenever I'm looking for one, I just open it up and I just flip through all of them. If there's no bee, there's no bee. So, but there was a question in the forum about cataloging stamps. So if you have a question about that, you should go check that out because some people had some really interesting methods for cataloging their stamps. Okay. Yes, Evernote. That is exactly what people had recommended. Several people had recommended using Evernote. Okay, so it's almost been an hour, so I think I'm gonna call it a day unless somebody has any more questions. And of course, I'm thinking I might do this more often. It's kind of fun to interact with you guys rather than just email. It's kind of fun to go back and forth live with the chat. So anyway, if you have any other questions, just email me and maybe I'll do this maybe on a quarterly basis, something like that. I'll make sure I have my PC over here so I can see the chat. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this and I will see you next time.